Pathological narcissists have been cycling around the third dimension way before you even got into the picture. You are dealing with people that behave between the ages of about 5 and 12 years old, so this means that they failed the individuation process. Now, let's quickly discuss what individuation is. The process of individuation, as described by Carl Jung, begins in childhood but continues throughout a person's life. It is not a single event but a lifelong journey of self-discovery and self-realization, self-actualization. Here is how individuation typically manifests at different stages in a child's development. So let's start off with toddlers. In the earliest stages of development, infants are highly dependent on their caregivers for their physical and emotional needs. However, even during this period, they begin to differentiate themselves from their caregivers in small ways. They develop a sense of self-awareness and agency as they learn to crawl, walk, and explore their environment. Next up, let's describe early childhood, which is roughly about the ages of 3 to 6 years old. This is a critical period for the development of a child's sense of self. They start to form their own preferences, interests, and identities. They may assert their independence by saying no, making choices, and developing a unique personality. Next up, we have middle childhood, which is roughly ages 6 to about 12 years old. During this stage, children continue to explore their individuality. They may develop hobbies, interests, and friendships that reflect their own personal preferences. They also begin to understand their strengths and weaknesses and may have a growing awareness of how they differ from others. The next two phases would be adolescence and adulthood. However, I'm not going to discuss that because pathological narcissists are people that have arrested development and they behave somewhere between the ages of about 5 and 12 years old. Hey Google, what is the average age of a third grader?
8 to 9 years old. According to Wikipedia, it is the third year of primary school. Children in third grade are usually 8 to 9 years old.
If we had to give it an average, pathological narcissists are somewhere about 8 or 9 years old. Additionally, understand that we're not talking about a healthy third grader. We're talking about a maladaptive third grader, because if an adult is behaving like a child, then something must have gone extremely wrong. One of my favorite quotes is by author, shaman, and healer Malidoma Patrice Sommet, where he writes, "Keep a man in an adolescent state and he will act militaristically." This means you're going to be dealing with a very destructive person because they do not have access to constructive energy. They do not have access to any positive emotions, any positive awareness. They are filled with anger and rage and shame. To cope with a narcissistic injury, some narcissists employ defense mechanisms like denial, projection, or blame shifting. And this would be similar to Gaston blaming Belle for his own shortcomings. It is important to understand that you will not be able to hold pathological narcissists accountable because they did not develop to that level of awareness. Accountability and cooperation comes with rational linear thinking, and that is at the 4th dimension or higher. Pathological narcissists did not make it out of the 3rd dimension. They did not become an individual. They did not become an adult. You must serve a child because they are a child inside. Pathological narcissists are actually people that are looking for surrogate mothers or surrogate fathers. Again, they did not develop into an adult. So if you have a child stuck inside of an adult's body, when you get into an intimate relationship with them, they will want you to be the parent that they did not individuate from. I really do hope that I'm painting a very clear picture on what you should be expecting from these toxic personality types. They have very severe abandonment issues, and this stems from their maternal and or paternal figures. I really do hope that I'm painting a very clear picture on what you should expect from pathological narcissists. So if you're dealing with a narcissistic male, for example, then you are dealing with the Peter Pan type of personality. They are man children. If you're dealing with a narcissistic female, then it's going to be the same thing. So they're going to be brats or women children.